Hello, welcome back to the field. Today I'm talking about drought. Now then, I know a lot of you guys have had a lot of water, but we haven't down in the southwest, and in particular this area has really missed all the big rains. So the last meaningful rain was back in February. We were absolutely inundated by water then. We had a small amount in May, about 50 mils, something like that, but it's just not gone far enough. It helped water the grass and the crops that were in the ground at that particular point, but now we need to take some action. You may remember this little patch that I covered off in the end of May, saying how I was putting down a mulch over all the beds well in advance of planting the squash out. Well, that's what I did. And the mulch stayed down a couple of months and it became slug heaven. The rest of the ground was dry. That was no good as a plan. But the plan itself was relatively sound. So what I've done is I've stripped off all the grass clippings and just left it bare soil. I've been in the last week I've been twice up here collecting slugs, as you'll see on the screen right now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting back the grass mulch around all the plants. Now this does two things. It traps the moisture that's left in the ground right now, and this lot here should be a fair amount because it really hasn't had anything grown in it, so it hasn't had its water supply drained, as it were. And then it'll protect the ground itself from excessive sun. Now, something else you can do is you make a depression in the ground around the plant, so when you do hand water you get a nice pool of water feeding down to the roots, and that's it. I think hopefully that one shows up nice. A nice little volcano of soil and compost around the plant so that it retains the moisture and the water goes where you want it. So after an hour's work, it's largely finished. I've got about a third of it left to go, so that's all protected. Run out of the dried grass just about, got a small bit. Let me just quickly show you something. Right, so what I'm showing you is that area where I temporarily stored the grass clippings. And you see how moist the ground is underneath, and that's what I'm aiming for. Absolutely worth its weight in gold to keep the moisture in. And it's all clear of weeds as well, so it's doing a double job. And if you compare the edge there, that's how much growth has happened without the grass being on top. Absolute 10 out of 10 for both reasons. Crops like sweet corn again can have little trenches just put around them, so when you do water it sits around the plant, it doesn't go spilling off elsewhere. You can actually do that around a lot of crops, like even around these runner beans. Just make a little moat around it and the moisture will sit around the plant, not run off the bed. I'll also be up here bright and early tomorrow to do some more grass cutting, because between like the tomatoes I'm going to be laying down a mulch over there, again with the same purposes in the squash area, to conserve moisture. I'd rather the tomatoes had the moisture rather than the weeds, so it will subdue the weeds and stop transpiration of moisture that's in the ground. On a bed like this, which is tomatoes again, the wood chip mulch will keep the moisture in very well, and that's already down, so that's good. There is a green manure crop interplanted on this particular bed. I'll probably terminate that early rather than let it to go to full length, purely because of the moisture levels. The green manure will be doing a wonderful job fixing nitrogen, feeding the plants later on, but if the plants can't get moisture, then there isn't a lot of point in pursuing that option. Some areas like this, which is the fruit area, the fruit is doing rather nicely. It's the first year of this for this fruit, so the wood chip will be absolutely brilliant keeping the moisture in. But I think because the root system isn't developed yet, these will need a helping hand, because you know, the new youngish plants, as is the new rhubarb that's gone in. The strawberries, again, well, the runners will be coming along now, as you can see there. Again, they probably need a bit of moisture in the ground. Pots, up here, with my lack of ability to water, the pots are an absolute pain. It's the only reason why I've stopped doing pots up here. It's not a normal circumstance for pots, because if you've got water, it's really easy to irrigate these. I don't have any water up here, so it's a devil of a job. In my potato beds, I've got the roof stout method growing, so I'm going to be banking up with hay very shortly, but they're doing very well. They seem to be coming into flower quite early, I think a little bit drought stressed. And what I've done with these is I've actually mulched with, I don't know if you can see it down there, I've actually mulched with comfrey first. There we are, that's better. And as that breaks down, that's obviously going to feed the potatoes. But the crop's looking reasonably good. Roof stout method is working very well. I found last year I didn't have to irrigate once, and I won't be irrigating this time. Some of the crops, like this one here, which is beetroot maturing, they may need a bit of water to finish off. Celery will definitely need water, unfortunately. But stuff like main crop onions there, they really shouldn't need any water. Those are actually, sorry, those are actually spring onions rather than main crop onions. That's the main crop onions above. But I'm not looking to water those much at all. The beans that you see over there, desperate for water, I've got to water those. So some crops you have to water. But what you don't do is save the actual water to actually irrigate the crops that need it, rather than crops like this, which don't need regular watering. I did put down one major soak earlier on this week, one really good drench, to try and get the bulbs to fill out, because it's the time when these guys need to swell out. Well, thank you very much for joining me on another video. I just want to touch on two things I haven't mentioned in this plot, and it's the elephants in the room, which is these things were a complete failure against slugs. The slugs just slimed their way in between the nettos. Entirely predictable to you guys. A failed experiment from me. But it was good against the rabbits. The rabbits haven't been able to get to them. But then again, when I put this one up, that keeps away the birds and the rabbits lovely. The slugs don't give a monkeys. Of course they wouldn't. Well, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, enjoy the glorious weather that we're going to be having this next week. Bye for now.